So they were incredibly popular about 10 years ago. In fact, they were the buzzword in the real estate industry, rent to buy contracts. It was a really convenient thing at the time. But what's really happened to the rent to buy contract? Not that many of them are being undertaken anymore. So we thought we'd have a look at what really happened with the rent to buy contract. So welcome to episode number 157 of 2 Minute Tuesday with Hundon Valley Homes. So as I mentioned, the rent to buy contract isn't as popular as it was in sort of the recession years of 2008, sort of 4 years to maybe 2012, when clients, vendors and agents were looking at sort of unorthodox ways to get properties sold. So let's start by firstly explaining exactly what a rent to buy contract is. So for ease of mathematics, let's say we're taking a villa of €200,000 and in order to sell the villa we are looking at a rent to buy contract. So what you would find is that the sale price of the villa will be €200,000. The potential buyer will put down a 10% deposit, €20,000. And let's say the duration of the rent to buy contract is 10 months. So during that 10-month period, they'll pay 10 instalments or rentals of €1,000 per month. And then at the conclusion of the contract in 10 months' time, the €200,000 property, they will have paid 10%, €20,000. They will have paid 10 €1,000 rentals, which also are deducted from the sale price of the house. So that's €30,000 to come off the sale price of the property. They will then pay the balance of €170,000 plus the applicable taxes and fees and things like that. So that in principle is how a rent to buy contract works. So what were really the benefits for the vendor and for the buyer? Well, the vendor basically gets the sale. Now, it's not great if it's your main home because obviously you have to move out of your property when the potential buyer is moving in. So it's better for people with holiday homes and in that sort of a situation. But it basically means in a difficult market, you've got a sale. If you are a buyer of property, then it gives you the opportunity to secure the property when you may not have all of the money in place at any one particular time. But it basically means that you can purchase the property, and let's say you have a pension or a policy that's going to mature in 6 or 10 months' time. It allows you to purchase the property today and then fund it fully in 10 months' time. So basically the vendor is giving you an interest-free loan for the duration of what I call the rental period. So with a standard contract or standard sale, you'll find that the sale normally completes in sort of 6 to 8 weeks. Now, the rent to buy contract could be 6 months, it could be 10 months, it could be 12 months. And that's the advantage it gives to the vendor because it gives them a little bit more time within which to fund the actual sale itself. And it's of course a good solution for the vendor. If you're in a stagnant market, then it gives you some extra ammunition in order to be able to get your property sold if you're in a position to offer the rent to buy contract. However, we're no longer in a stagnant market. So it sounds fantastic, doesn't it? It's brilliant for the vendor and it's brilliant for the buyer. But there must be some negatives as well. And so what we would say is that although it's called a rent to buy contract, and I've been doing these annoying rental in speech marks, it's not actually a rental contract. It's more of a delayed term contract. So it's a standard sales contract, but there is, rather than it being completed in the 6 to 8 weeks, there is a time period inserted into the contract, and basically that is the sort of the rental period. You're not actually renting the property yourself. The property always remains the property of the vendor. Your name doesn't go on any of the paperwork. It will go onto the things like the electricity and the water and maybe even the taxes, but the property itself will remain the vendor's. You won't go to the notary, you won't have the escritura or the property deeds updated into your name. And if you want to make any changes, if you want to paint or decorate or plant some trees in the garden or do some landscaping, you must have the written permission of the vendor. Because it's still their property and you can't make any changes to that property. Or if you do make changes and invest money on the property and you're not able to complete the sale, there again is a risk there to the potential buyer, because at the end of the rental period, let's say it's the 10 months in the example I gave you, then if you're not able to complete the sale, then you will forfeit not only the 10% deposit that you've paid, but you'll also forfeit the rental that you've paid. So if after 10 months you're unable to complete the sale for whatever reason, you've spent €30,000 on a property that you're not able to purchase. So it's really one of those things that there are advantages, but there are disadvantages if it doesn't work out brilliantly for you. And as I've mentioned a few times, stagnant market. Well, we're not in that. Sort of Christmas, not last year, but the year before, the market really changed. That it's gone from being a buyer's market to being a vendor's market. There aren't a huge number of properties available, and the properties that are available generally tend to get snapped up incredibly quickly. So this rent to buy is no longer really a viable consideration for vendors because their properties are selling exceptionally quickly. So there you go. That's a real sort of quick explanation what a rent to buy contract is, how they work, and why they work well in a market where properties aren't selling particularly quickly. As we are at the moment, properties are, every agent is desperate to list new properties, ourselves included, and so it's a sort of it's an option that isn't really identified as being useful anymore to anyone. It's a much better benefit for potential buyers at the moment than it is for vendors. So there we go. That's this week's episode of 2 Minute Tuesday. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, you can subscribe. I think there'll be a little thing somewhere down here that you can click on and subscribe, and we'll look forward to seeing you for the next episode of 2 Minute Tuesday very shortly. My details are on the screen, so if you have any questions about this video, about buying property, selling property, or about the area, anything like that, then please feel free to drop me a line and I will be more than happy to help you. So until the next episode, adios, have a great day.